Anthony or Campbell lights it up in spring training, the conversations between Breslow, ownership, and Cora are going to be fascinating, right? As to what you do with these kids. And I think that's kind of a cool dynamic that's going to play out as we go about spring training too. So it's going to be fun to watch it unfold.
I'm smiling thinking about it. I can't wait for baseball to get here, Dan. I can't wait any longer. And again, I think it's that young player part that to me gets so exciting. And Roman Anthony, you hit on his name, and you look at how great of a year he had last year, and he's the number one prospect in baseball right now. If you take out Roki Sasaki, which I think you should, but
Yep.
that's a whole nother discussion. That I with Roman Anthony, one of the problems that could come into play in terms of making the major league roster is just your outfield situation in general, because you have Cedar Rafaela, you have Jaron Duran, you have Wilyer Abreu. If you bring him up, you want to make sure he's getting at bats, especially because he's such a priority in this organization. But anything can happen in spring training, and if it does, obviously we're not rooting for that. You'd have to figure that he's going to be a part of the equation just because of the season he had and the need for this team to see, I think, what they have in the prospects. And I don't know. I'd have a hard time seeing them put him in AAA if there was a real opening out there for him.
Well, and the whole service time argument, right? That comes into with the contract,
Which I can't stop. I will never stop shaking my head at that part. But
right. And then the other part is again the dynamic of the team, right? So how do Wilyer Abreu, who won a Gold Glove last year? I'm excited to see him, see what he does with his bat as he progresses too. So there are kind of things. And then again, Joe, we talk about what happens in spring training, what happens at the beginning of the season. Depth is such an integral part of what you're doing. Injuries happen all the time, and I go back to we can see Rafaela playing shortstop, and if something's up with Trevor Story, or if they want to. Actually, I know they want to give Rafaela the center field job and just say go and go out and play great defense. But if you're nervous a little bit about Story and want to keep him healthy, do you play him 5 days a week at shortstop or 4 days a week at shortstop and then put Rafaela in for a couple of games? And then if Anthony is that good and having that big of a start and is out to is just crushing it right out of the chute, maybe you mix in and match that way when it comes to what you're trying to do with everybody on this team. So I think there's a lot of cool things. And I think the nice thing to have is Alex Cora running the show here, because he's going to be up front with these guys, but he's also going to utilize these guys to get the best he can every single day to try to win. So again, all fun stuff. And April's going to be a very interesting month for this baseball team, just to see how it comes together, if it comes together, and where it comes together, starting with that starting pitching, right? That's what you and I talked about. They had a great starting pitching to start the year last year, but then it faded after that. So if they could just get consistent starting pitching in April, with veterans that know how to do it and have been there and done that, I think it's really exciting for everybody all the way through the rest of the ball club.
And just to put a bow on that point, you do also have Rob Refsnyder, and they're trying to get outfield reps for Masataka Yoshida. So again, that's another part of the equation there with the outfield. But in terms of listening to spring training games, I will be having my ears and eyes out for Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony, because I want to see them play